Thank you very much, Dread and Calder. And there's only one thing that I want to do right now. I want to go home, log into Heroes of the Storm, and be like, Tracer all day long, because that was amazing to see. And as Calder pointed out, Tracer was not the hardest damage dealer, right? She was not good in terms of raw numbers, but boy, was she effective against single target kills.
I don't think Tracer is meant to be topping the damage meters at all. What she's meant to be is harassment on the back line to force people to make mistakes. And I think that last play might have been a little bit of a mistake by Falstad.
She basically 1v3'd for a good amount of time when she was low, and the rest definitely was not expecting her to be able to do that for sure.
You blow people up, you kill them, you trade. She has, like, I think, the second highest regen in the game next to Murky, so you just basically find damage, you find mistakes, or you blow somebody up and get a kill. And you can even send her in a lane. She has no mana. She regens really quick. She goes all over the map. She's clearing lanes really quickly. She's running over somewhere else to get somebody. And if you make sure that you can hit your recalls correctly and don't die, no matter how risky of a play you make, if you hit that recall, you don't get punished.
Real quick, Wolf, how many times have we seen Tracer in the Super League in Korea, roughly?
0.
Awesome.
This is the first time, I've seen Black do it since they played against Renavasio.
Awesome. So here we go. Jayhao is going to provide us with the first replay.
Well, this is kind of interesting positioning. Let's go ahead and pause and instantly take a look at Falstad. He's there. He's positioned himself. He realizes that he has MVP starting to barrel down upon him. Remember, he's got Mighty Gust that's going to be available, and that's exactly what we're going to see. He does take the stun, though. Going to get stunned for just a moment, but the positioning is key. Problem is what happens after the fact, and we're going to see as soon as this boss is captured, we will see the Mighty Gust come out, isolates pretty much everybody, and you can see just barely saving Kono. Now, roll it back for just 1 second. I want to take a look at another part that was happening. Roll it back a few more frames if we could, because on the backside, we are seeing Tracer. And she was just all over Sylvanas, which puts her in a position on the back line, and she's going to shoot that Wailing Arrow, which neutralizes Karazim. He gets blown up there and allows the team to make the plays. The fact that Tracer did not secure that kill allowed for Sylvanas to make the plays to follow up here. You can see Sake under assault. The rest of the team coming in to try and save him. He's going to get blown up there, and then Murden's going to get chased down after this. But action in 2 parts of the map. The positioning by Falstad allowed for the Mighty Gust. You can see the follow-up going to finish him off there. But then Tracer, not able to secure that kill, allowed for Sylvanas to keep them alive and get that boss, and of course get a couple follow-up kills after that.
This is where Tracer's place is in the meta. This explosive blow-up, this looking for roaming heroes, trying to punish them for being where they are on the top lane and the bot lane, trying to find someone who's behind the boss, looking for safety. We're finally starting to see a place. And in that game, Kyocha made Trace look like she should be highly valued in the draft, even not just a 5th final pick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was some stellar Tracer performance by Kyocha, as Wolf pointed out here. But you know what else is going to be stellar? J.O. on the second replay.
I mean, this was crazy. This is where things blew wide open. Sign all alone. The Pulse Bomb just barely does clip lockdown. Let's slow it down. We see the Ancestral come in. It's going to keep Dami alive. Force the heals down onto lockdown. But Dami goes in very deep while the rest of his team is going to help secure a kill here on the back. But this is where things really get crazy. As we see, let's just pause it, because right there, roll it back. The sundering that came out right here is where things really start to change. And as we move forward, we see Dami still in very deep. That's going to force a Mighty Gust out from Falstad. The problem is, roll it back. I want to watch this in slow motion one more time. At level 20, we didn't see a tour bus, but we see a bolt, and he was trying to land the ultimate mosh pit. Unfortunately, they weren't in sync, and he's going to bolt, activate that mosh pit, and now let's roll it forward at full speed, because that was a huge problem. As we see Tempest very low on the back end, they go in. They really want Rich. They can't get the kill they chase, and now it puts them in a rather tough spot.
Yes.
And who's the familiar face? Tracer right there, and Tracer was putting harassment on the team the entire time. Kill, you sound excited about that.
That was my favorite part of the whole game. It was so awesome. It was just like gave time for the team to be able to kind of stay on the backside and get back into position, and meanwhile the whole time Tracer is just like distracting all of these distractions that came out from Tracer, and got a lot of kills off of that too.
So much pressure we saw from Tracer there. Very, very powerful.
The next battleground, by the way, is going to be Dragonshire.
Yes.
That is my personal favorite map. even though it's been around for such a long time. But the amount of action we see between rotating, like from the top shrine to the bottom shrine, then the Dragon Knight is always down for some additional action, you know, punting people away. And also, in the later stages of the game, we sometimes see that dragon dance, right? When people try to prevent the dragon from actually entering the base. So, Jayhao, what expectations do you have for this or potentially last map?
Dragonshire is one that starts slow and ends quickly, and you can see sometimes it does get drawn out quite a bit in the sense of what Kendrick was just talking about with the Dragon Knight. If you can stall it out and then win one team fight, as Wolf was talking about, sometimes late game is what really matters, and I think we're going to see a lot of that on Dragonshire.
Yeah. This is one that we haven't really seen very much either of these teams on in this tournament. In fact, MVP Black has not played on Dragonshire yet this event, and X team took Tempest there one time, so the potential cool strategies from both teams yet to be seen here.
In Super League, we have best of fives, even from the very beginning of the tournament.
Right.
So we see this map a lot more often here than some of the other regions where we only have best of threes up until the very end of the tournament. So this is a team, even though this is a map that, even though we haven't seen much games from these teams on this tournament, they do play a lot in Super League. And I personally think it's one of Tempest's worst maps because they are great at team fighting, but when it comes to rotations, they're a little bit lackluster. And MVP Black is going to be on the shrines faster, they're going to be on the mercs faster, and Tempest needs to tighten up the rotations here.
And Tempest is not going for the ETC again. I mean, it didn't always synchronize that well in the last game. We especially saw, of course, with the Mighty Gust and the ETC Mosh Pit. They're going for Muradin this time around, going a little bit of a safer route here, I might say.
They've definitely favored Muradin, and we've seen it a lot, actually, where they sometimes first pick him, or when they are second and third pick, they pick him up as well. Just kind of interesting, the priority that we've seen. I'm just curious if they're going to fall back into their comfort zone or whether they're going to have something to bust down for us here.
I have a feeling this is going to be either a Tassadar into a Sonya or a Sonya into a Rhaegar. Because obviously, Dami going to get an early pick early on with that. It's not going to be in this draft phase, of course, but if you get Tassadar, if Dami if one of his melee heroes is taken away here, for example, Greymane, they still have Tassadar to pair him with all of his other heroes. Because Falstad is taken away early on in this draft, you're really looking at Dami to carry this team with the heroes that he's really, really good on.
Yeah, I mean, Dami, he's such a flexible melee assassin player. You mentioned it, Wolf. The only hero that he kind of struggles on is that Thrall, but everything else that comes out of him is super deadly.
With Greymane and Kael'thas, I think that again means we're going to see Kyocha again playing Kael'thas.
Yeah, it's very, very likely. It really depends on what happens later on in the draft because both Sake and Rich can't play Greymane, even though Sake is usually the one who plays Greymane. It's totally open for what could happen there. Tirana getting taken away again because of ETC. Signs power slides paired with those stuns, really, really terrifying. Now here's the targeted ban again against Dami. They've targeted Lockdown's Falstad and Dami's Sonya. This is really powerful. They couldn't take away the Tassadar, but they're going to take away the Sonya.
This has really been working out for MVP, I think, in the long run to start to focus on some of these comfort picks for Tempest because they were the same heroes that were played in the Super League Grand Finals too. So they know they have a lot of experience working against them and finally figuring out who to target. And the flexibility that MVP Black's players have makes it a little bit more difficult, I think, for Tempest to be able to do the same to them.
It's really awkward here for Dami now because any other team would really just say, okay, Rhaegar Thrall is a great choice here. I've got double support for Thrall. He's a great frontliner. But for Dami, he doesn't pick Thrall. He's not very comfortable on Thrall. And as a result, this gets to be a little bit awkward. We're not going to be seeing a Kerrigan here, I don't think, not on Dragonshire. And the question becomes, who's the melee assassin? Are we even going to see perhaps a Nubrak as his position here? That's something I'm starting to think about a little bit more.
And I got to highlight Meriday on the side of MVP Black because his Kharazim plays were on point. Not always when it came to palming people, but we saw great seven-sided strikes coming out of him. So do you think that's going to be another possibility? Never change a winning team, so to speak?
I mean, they did prioritize him over Uther last game, and that's not really a surprise anymore, so I wouldn't be surprised. And I think Wolf was right here. It seemed to be that Nubrak is going to be that frontline hero to help join on that front line, but they have to secure some serious damage. Li Ming's still on the board. Do you think that's something they would feel comfortable with?
I'm thinking that's the only thing they can do here. Kharazim does come out. That's kind of the obvious pick here, but Li Ming is going to be how they try to get the damage done, I'd say. There's a very few other heroes that can be played in this position, and Lockdown's Li Ming really, really good. We've already seen it several times this tournament. Not as good as some other players' Li Ming's, like Crone, for example. I got to say, I think he plays a better Li Ming. But Lockdown's Falstad's taken away. Dami has to be using an awkward pick here. He has to play a Nubrak. So I think MVP Black won this draft, and they won it pretty hard.
Yeah, this is double warrior, double support. is a little awkward for sure for Tempest. But
I worry that if Greymane gets anywhere near that back line and takes care of Li Ming, what do they have after that? I mean, they have no damage.
A lot of beetles.
They have a lot of beetles.
I think they have to have a Nubrog very aggressively in the front lines. Burrow charging in. Muradin has to be up in the front lines as well. They need to allow Li Ming to do her damage. She needs to go glass cannon, and she needs to be very, very protected.
Right. So in terms of mental stability, we've heard that Tempest tends to get nervous when under pressure, especially in such a global stage here. Do you think they are actually a little bit shaken here, or do you think they are still calm and relaxed and they have what it takes to make that comeback happen?
I mean, things got a little hectic at the end, and it showed.
Yeah, it showed in game, right?
Yeah, trying to make plays that you don't necessarily need to make. Maybe they felt a little bit of pressure, like they needed to make plays to be able to neutralize some things that were going on. It seemed like some of the late games fights, they lost communication. Again, the mighty gust with the bolt into the mosh pit.
Yeah.
Completely uncoordinated. Is the pressure starting to mount?
I think so. I think that there's a lot more pressure here than what we saw against E-Star. Against E-Star, they had the same sort of targeted bans. E-Star prepared very, very well. They targeted bans against these two players, Lockdown and Dami, over and over again, but they kept their cool. They won those late game team fights. They won games they were behind in. But I think now that the fear of losing, basically, they won the OGN tournament. They are the best Korean team until now. If MV Black wins one more game, they're out. It's over. They're not champions anymore. And I think the pressure is mounting here. Absolutely agree.
I mean, Duck, they have Duck, right? He has competed not necessarily here, but in StarCraft on an international stage, and they can rely on him to bring in that composure when you're down, but of course it's a team game. It comes down to every single member and their mental composure, and it is the first time as a group that they're competing on such a level.
Yeah, certainly Duck, of course, proving to be a pillar when it comes to, you know, keeping his teammates relaxed and calm. Almost the Korean equivalent to Hazuups in a way, where he certainly has that amount of experience that can be really, really valuable when it comes to stabilizing here. But in terms of power level, we've interviewed Sake from MVP a couple of times. Is this where MVP has reached the maximum power level, or can they even put one up to that?
They might not be even at their own power level, but what we've seen from them shows that they don't even have to be 100% to make things happen. They're just that good. They're up 2-1. Yes, Tempest looked really good one time, and they've fought them tough the last game, but mistakes were made where MVP Black didn't make those mistakes. So It might be good enough, even if they're not 100% of their own expectations.
I think Dami's inability to play Thrall on the stage at this moment in time is really hurting them big, because a Nubrog, he fits in the draft okay. Like I can make arguments for it. I mean, we predicted it as well in the draft screen. But I look at this and I go, well, this just isn't as powerful as a Thrall could be here. They couldn't take it away from Rich. Rich's best hero is Thrall. It's like in this moment, it has to be a Thrall pick, and they gave it away. They didn't take it, and so you have two supports for an Nubrog bruiser. I think the lack of hero pool for Dami, or he has a huge hero pool, but his lack of playing Thrall, like that hero specifically, he doesn't play it, is a big issue.
Right. I mean, you make a great point there. You have to flow with the meta, right? You have to go with the meta. And if Thrall is such an impactful hero, you can't just be like, okay, I'm going to train 3 other heroes on the same role really hard, but I'm not really feeling the Thrall. You have to adjust and make sure that you have the heroes that are currently really strong. However, J-How, prediction time.
I feel like it's time to close it out. Strong draft, strong performance last game. I've got MVP Black.
Black wrecked the draft. Super ahead. I'm going to have to go Black as well.
I voted for them when nobody else did last time, and I'm going to stick on the MVP hype train. I think it's the end of the series, guys.
And as sad as that sounds, of course, the end of the series that is, I'm going to go with MVP Black here as well, because I think they are on a huge momentum wave right now, and they are here to reclaim their Korean pride, if you will, and beating their toughest opponents, of course. For now, though, Dreadnought and Calder will potentially cast you to that game and for last time here. So, boys, take it away one more time and take us to Dragonshire.
Thank you, Kendrick. It could be that last game, and the momentum that MVP Black built up here is gigantic, Dread.
Yeah, and I really like the points that the panel brought out about lacking that one specific hero. I mean, a translation I see to the Western teams might be, I don't know, a Tyrael?
Oh, burn right there. Let's talk about NA a little bit, my friend. But first of all, let's focus on Korea versus Korea. To the left side of the map, on potentially the last map of the day here on Dragonshire, it is Tempest with Duck on Tassadar, Hyde on Rhaegar, Hong on Murden, Lockdown on Li Ming and Damian and Nubarak.
And in the red side, we have the Legends MVP Black at tournament point here with Sake on the Grey Mane. Kyocha is going to be on the Kel'Thas, Rich on Thrall, Meriday is going to be on the Karzim, and ETC for Sign.
And what a story between these two teams, especially the final in the Korean League where Tempest took down MVP Black without losing a map. It was a huge blow to MVP Black. They said they never expected Tempest to be this strong in the finals. They wanted revenge. They have the best stage fight now. It is the final of the Summer Championship, and we are seeing MVP Black in the lead. With a 2-1, 2 games in a row they were able to take, and now we see them with a great draft Dreadnought on Dragonshire.
Yeah, and they're already dominating the map here with the 1-4 between the two lanes. They realized there was an overcommitment to the upper half of the map. This is actually phenomenal mentality right here for MVP. The fact that they realized their opponents were soaking on the upper half of the map because they hadn't shown in so long, I have never seen a team be able to realize those type of things this early on. Kyocha is under a bit of pressure, but no, they're going to be all right. Getting already a free turret here.
Very, very nice escape here as well. And right now it feels a bit like MVP Blacks, they are sharks circling their prey. They smelled blood in the water early on, and they really forced the issue. Tempest, they have to break out of it now. They have to really just like shake that feeling. They have to make sure that they can just play this game from a clean slate and take MVP Black down to force a 5th map. And it is not going to be easy right now.
I think it's going to come down to Lockdown. I think he's got to play out of his mind. They do control both of the shrines here, but they're going to be outnumbered in the mid lane 3-2 here. Tempest probably not going to be able to pick this up anytime soon. Yes, they are going to be making the rotations. And Nubarak's trying to hold his own in the upper lane, but he's going to be losing it out now while they get that shrine for MVP.
And that Nubarak could become a liability later on in the game. They play a double front line with 2 tanks. The Nubarak is, of course, going to try and just play also that bruiser role to a certain extent. Double support is going to make it easier for him to dive deep. But if you compare that to MVP Black's lineup here, with not only, again, this combo between Kel'Thas and ETC, but a Grey Mane and a Thrall to follow things up, it's a scary setup.
Yeah, and Lockdown, like I said, he's got to do well. He also took an interesting choice at level 1 with the Force Armor. But MVP now with the Thrall winning the 1v1 and they winning the 4-man with the great amount of wave clear that they have, they're going to be capturing both these shrines. But Kyocha getting caught out a little bit here.
Yeah, once again, Meriday is all of a sudden being attacked. Yes, they're trying to turn around, but Kyocha is still being focused. Meriday jumps in with the heals, and Kong is attempting to move away. Hong on the move back, but we still have both of these shrines in the hands of MVP Black. That additional wave clear that you pointed out gives them a lot of map control and vision.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dami's stuck in the 1v1 that he can't win. You just see him constantly dancing back and forth because Rich is just, he's an absolute monster in the 1v1. Not just because it's Rich on Thrall, but just because Thrall is just so great in this matchup here. So they need to find something different here. Tempest needs to be making the action happen somewhere else, whether it be ganking Rich or something, or invading a camp. This is a smart choice from them.
Yeah, they're trying to force the issue here. Sign once more with a peel, but at the same time, the gravity lapse. There it is, the lockdown. But Hong is on the point. He has to move back as Meriday is jumping after them. There's the kill. Muradin is down. First blood to secure MVP Black again with a lead.
Yeah, great rotation coming out from Rich, and he can only do that again because of how well he is doing in that 1v1, helping secure the kill there. Sake gonna get the finish, and now both the shrines are gonna go over to them. Actually, Dame capturing the upper one. This is only gonna be for a short period of time.
Lockdown, by the way, with the dominance on level 4 for Li Ming. We've seen this build before on Battlefield of Eternity when he was trying to go with Calamity Illusionist for just a blow-up against the backline. He did a lot of damage there. Is he gonna do that again? Rich on the top lane, on the other hand, is meet by rotation. Rich is going to fall for sure as Dami jumps in, stuns them out, and they are going to finish the job.
Yeah, that was a really good job, but guess what? Because the amount of pressure that you've seen MVP get, they're already threatening the bottom half of the map here with the double giants. So, I mean, yes, you do get the kill, Tempest, but you are still onto the back foot here for the most part in this matchup. They need to make something happen. I don't want to see them stick to this 1-4. They are not winning it, and they will not. And that's one of the struggles of Dragonshire, is you don't really have to be the best when it comes to the team fighting, because if you lose the beginning half of this map hard enough, it just is so hard to come back when you fall too far behind in the XP.
And especially structures have also huge value here. Talking about the bot lane, for example, with the well gone, whenever there's a fight over the Shrine at the bot lane, we will see MVP Black with a better sustain since they can just move to the right, tap the well, go back into the battle. That is a huge problem for them in the long run. Once more, an exchange in Shrines here, but for a moment, it looked like they might even go for that Dragon Knight. But thankfully locked down at the bot lane, securing one for Tempest.
Yeah, the Giants are going to be going over to Tempest for the time being. Tassadar is now being moved up to the upper half of the map. That is not a matchup you want either. Thrall is going to be just raining havoc here over Duck Duck. So if MVP is able to secure the bottom half of the map, they're going to do very well. But guess what?
The kill against the Nubarak happening. There's the lockdown. Sign goes in with a slide. There comes Kyoja with a gravity lapse, and they take them apart. Even ETC went for the follow through here. Him on Thrall, both with the same talent. They want the extra damage. Level 8 versus 8, but that might be a Dragon Knight. But they don't even go for the middle. They instead just move down to the bottom of the map to take down the fort, get more lane control, and force down structures.
I like that amount of pressure that they're getting for MVP. Even making the rotation to mid doesn't secure your ability to be able to get a Dragon Knight, because this early on with Death Timer short, you can't really promise that you're going to be able to get it. So instead, just getting the tri-lane on the bottom half, getting harassed, is honestly more value. You know you're going to be able to get the value, and it's not like the Dragon Knight's that powerful.
Exactly, you raised a really good point here. The Dragon Knight, of course, is scaling over time, and we are only 5 minutes into the game. So even if you get the Dragon Knight, which is not secured with those Death Timers, you might not get a lot of value. You might get a tower or two in the mid lane, but the pressure at the bottom is just so much more, there's so much more value for them, so much more powerful in long run.
Yeah, really good job here. Also, good job from Hyde to be able to keep his team alive. Dami trying to get the barrel in here, but Sign is under a lot of pressure.
Yes, he is, and he's trying to escape right now. Hyde wants him, but he has to move back. He doesn't want to overextend. Very nice move. Lockdown with a last-ditch attempt to maybe take ETC down after all. Not successful here. Both of the teams with just a few kills so far, but these level 10s for MVP Black are going to be a bit faster. Let's see what they can pull off with them. They go for a kill, and they get a Nubarak. Even before 10 hits, they see a chance. And again, that Kel'Thas ETC value, a constant theme at this tournament. And once more, there's a demonstration why this combo is just so damn strong.
Yeah, and I mean, Hyde had, it felt like instant cleanse the first time that combo came out onto the Nubarak, and he was able to keep him alive for a short period of time. But guess what? That's a lot longer of a cooldown than the combo that you have for the side of MVP Black here. Now they are trying to channel. They will be getting the Dragon Knight here. And MVP with a 3/4 level of a lead and the first Dragon Knight of the game. They are in strong control of this map.
Mary Day on the Dragon Knight, the support player in this case, so they have to be careful. No more healings for a few more seconds. The 10s are there. ETC not making a choice yet. We've seen some incredible mosh pits over the course of the tournament. No stage dive as far as I can remember just yet.
I don't think we've seen a stage dive yet, and there are a decent amount of interrupts on the side of Tempest, but at the same time, it's like kind of the threat that mosh pit brings can always be a little bit more valuable as well.
And look at Li Ming already going for the wave of forces, saying like, I dare you.
Yeah. And it's a really great spell. Oh gosh, the combo again coming out to Hyde. He can't cleanse himself nor Ancestral, so he's going to be on the back foot. Good punt there coming out from Mary Day, who is in the Dragon Knight for the time being.
Yeah, for now he can of course just jump back, go for the heals here. ETC still not making his pick, but is this the end of Hong? The Ancestral comes through. Great job by Hyde. They attempt to turn it around against Draymane, who's moving back. Sake attempting to escape here. Here comes the Sundering, trying to maybe go for Hyde. The mosh pit once again, a 3-man, no interrupts. Nubarak is already at the end of Rhaegar. The supports are falling. Li Ming explodes the triple kill. MVP Black with the moves.
That was very well done. Mary Day with a beautiful cleanse as well to keep his team alive. And then the juke to the side, and they aren't done yet. Hong Kono is taking a lot of pressure here as they take down the fort. About to close in on the level 13 talent here. MVP Black now, they just look absolutely unstoppable. Not even their counterparts can take them out.
Look at this again. Here we have it, that mosh pit, and all that damage comes in. Kyoja is having a field down as Kel'Thas. Everyone dead and dying. Level 13, a 2-level lead. MVP Black with a powerful draft on potentially the last map here. Dread, what does Tempest have to do to stop this?
Like I said, I feel like Lockdown has to play out of his mind. Somewhere they need to get, whether it be Sake out of position or Kyocha, they need to just get an immense combo onto them. Calamity coming in, gaining a lot of value. But outside of that, I don't really see what they have, like, to be able to win this game. Their composition, the panelists brought it up, they struggled in the laning positions, and we saw them, I mean, that's where the level lead really comes from. And then when you look at their comp, they don't have necessarily the best team fighting. It's just got to be one I mean, the Leeming reset dream, really.
It is absolutely unbelievable how strong MVP Black is. They already won the Spring Championship. They are the defending champion, and they are so close to winning the title once again, to defending it, to grab those $150,000. They want to go for the kills again. The 7-sided, the lockdown, the double kill. MVP Black is gaining so much momentum here.
Look at those death timers. They are perfectly synchronized. They literally just killed 2 people at the exact same time. Just like 2 seconds, the entire group just dying.
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah, no joke. Manage to top deck and wreck your opponents enough that you kill 2 people in perfect synchronization. Getting themselves a Dragonite here, and they are going to be moving on to the mid fort, and Tempest still yet to even hit that level 13 talent.
Yeah, here we see once again Meriday on the Dragonite again, and now this Dragonite is getting a lot more value. Those hits are already pretty hard. Dragonites, they are extremely powerful against structures, of course. They even move back a little bit since we see Thrall at the top lane and Kalthas not joined up with the rest of the team. And finally, Tempest with a level 13. Can that make the difference? They have a very small timing window in which they can force fight on even talents.
And guess what? Hyde.
It's not happening.
He's going to be going down here again. Dami's in a rough spot trying to get the Locust Swarm value. Kyocho's actually finally getting pressure, but the 7-sided strike will be able to take him down. Lockdown is trying to run away here, Calder.
The mosh pit, and they want to get the kill against now also Muradin. It's a triple kill. MVP Black, they are taking no prisoners in this final. They are on an absolute killing spree here, turning Dragonshire into a graveyard. They go through the wall. There's just destruction in their path. Lockdown trying to push them back somehow, but this is a 3-level lead in the final, ladies and gentlemen, between the 2 best teams in the entire world.
Yeah, they're doing such a great job, and now getting the Knights and all the pressure onto the map. It's very hard for Tempest to come back. Probably going to make the rotation, take the free fort, and actually the Tacet are a little bit out of position. I'm surprised MVP didn't just collapse onto him up there on Duck Duck. But I guess they're going to show a bit of mercy to Tempest for just only a moment.
The quest is following.
But now, again, it's just really Tempest. Dragonshire doesn't really a map that has the Fog of War positioning to where you can just be like, all right, we're going to come up behind our opponent like Cursala, right? Get that pick, and we're going to be in a position to be able to come back. They have to win through the lanes. And again, with their composition, they don't really have the wave code to be able to deal with this type of situation because they've fallen so far behind. And honestly, I don't feel like they can win a team fight either.
At this point, you look at the minimap and it just lanes pushed in, vision granted thanks to minions, a 2-level lead, the extra talent, and MVP Black just picking kills on the map at their leisure. They have the lockdown with all of the spells on these heroes, and they have the burst potential. Especially Karazim has gotten great value out of his 7-sided, but Tempest, they are now attempting to fight back. They go to the bot lane. They're trying to secure at least some experience through structures.
Yeah.
They lose the top in the meantime, but it's still a trade that brings them closer to the next talent.
Yeah, so it's actually a really good trade for them, but the problem is if they stay too long, there's already going to be a flank here coming out from MVP Black. They're anchoring with Duck Duck to try and be able to get the dismount so they aren't going to be in a problem here. But Sign already smells the situation. Great force wall blocking Rich out. I thought that was going to be a Sundering to secure kills here, but Calder, they're still on the chase.
They're still on the chase, indeed they are, but Dami already with an attempt to stun them out. Good jump on Hong. It was a close call though. That really looked for a moment like that Wolf would hit, and then Muradin is in a lot of trouble. We already saw Meriday getting basically ready for the 7-sided. He was just like, boys, give me one stun. Give me one chance. I got this.
Yeah, that was a very great trade for Tempest, though. That was the only way they're going to be able to get 16 before this Dragonite phase really comes into play by trading the structures. Yes, they lost the top 4, but that is so worth for them to try and get that time. Now they're going to be rotating mid, trying to get the interrupt, and nobody's even going to delay. 3 Dragonite.
I love how Hong just said, like, nah, I don't think so. He sees 4 heroes walking towards him. He was like, oh, boys, I'm out of here.
Yep, and now MVP with their Tempest actually getting 16. They still have a 2-level lead. This is a 13-minute Dragonite, still not the strongest in the world. And actually, Sign is by himself with this Dragonite. They realize that it's unrealistic to be able to get a keep. Instead, they're going to be threatening the bottom half of the map with the Giants and getting a keep front wall with it for now.
MVP Black is playing the series of their life, and keep in mind, they were behind the first map, won by Tempest. It was the best map of MVP Black, but they do not care, or do they? As Kalthas falls, Tempest is trying to make a comeback happen. They try to jump on the rest of the team. Sign is doing what he can to zone a bit and also kick them away, but they're collapsing onto the Dragon Dragonite, making sure that they can't take anything down. 16 versus 16 talents, and they get also Hong against the heavy impact. He can engage a little bit better, but the job of Tempest is really to close this gap in experience now to make sure that MVP Black does not have too much time once they reach level 20 to end the game or at least take down a keep.
Yeah, MVP right now, they did lose one hero because they sent Rich to the upper half of the map, and there was a great job from Tempest to really kind of understand the circumstances and make something happen here. But because MVP didn't risk anything past that one pickoff on this map, they really didn't lose anything. Yes, it was just the one hero and they weren't able to capitalize on the Dragonite, but if that happens the other way around, they could lose the game on the side of Tempest. So really well done from Tempest, but again, not game-changing.
They have to be so careful when they actually go for sign here. You could really see that he was waiting for a chance to use that mosh pit. One slide, one mosh pit, and this might all be over. This is the reason why Lockdown stayed a bit in the back. He wanted to use that wave of force to interrupt it if need be. But as you said, they have to be so careful right now. And MVP Black, they still have that massive lead in experience. And now, what is Tempest going to do? Can they force a battle? Can they win a decisive fight to come back into this?
And Nubarak has shown on the upper half of the map, and you see MVP Black deciding to capitalize on the bottom Knights as they have pressure on the upper half of the map as well. They are closing in under 20 here together, and it just comes down to their comp. Tempest doesn't have the laning phase, and they don't have the team fight phase. So it's like, what part, like, I have no idea how they can come back outside of just Lockdown, turning it up to 11.
MVP Black, they're taking map control now. They have cams on most of the lanes at this point, and you're totally right. What Tempest has to do right now, I feel, is really to capitalize on mistakes that Black makes. The question is, are they going to make these mistakes? And so far, they've played a great game. They lost Cal+ once, but that's already about it. The death timers, or at least the death counters alone, already telling the story here. 2 against 11. They go once more through the wall. Here comes a forced wall for potential isolation, but there's not enough burst to capitalize on that.
Yeah, and Rich even staying at the anchor into that shrub, making sure that Han Konan couldn't get a flake onto his team. Now they're going to be able to steal the Giants. Guess what? That's going to force another rotation from somebody on the side of Tempest to get vision in that bottom half of the map. Now the shrines are going to be spawning as well in about 10 seconds. But guess what? They found Honkono.
They found Honkono, indeed they did. And here's the 7-sided. Also immediately a Sundering coming out. No kills yet though, but Hai and Dami are once more in trouble. They move away, and that was a lot of cooldowns that just got burnt. Maybe a chance for Tempest to make a play.
Yeah, this is actually a really good spot for them. With that many resources used for MVP, even though they are level 20, I think this is realistically going to be one of the better fights they can get. That we have 3 heroics down. Mosh Pit and Go for the Throat's going to be the only ones available, so I'd like to see Tempest move out here. Looks like they already sent Duck to the upper half to get the clear onto the Knights, and they're giving up bottom, so guess what? They're going to be the Dragonite. Again, they don't have the wave clear to deal with this part of the game.
And level 20 on top of that makes it even more difficult. Now the question, how is MVP going to play this? How far can they push this in? It's an entire level that is missing for Tempest. Kyoja on the Dragonite. Everybody for MVP at the bot lane. They want the keep. They might want to try and take more. Is there going to be that one mosh pit that ends it all? Dami in trouble. They dive deep. They want the kill, and they get it. They take down Thrall. They're trying to take them down. They're going for the core already. The keep is down, and Kyoja is trying to end the game, Dreadnought.
He can't do it. Reverberation actually works here at this point. He's going to be able to disable the Dragonite. Kyoja is going to be falling down at this point. He is getting, not even through the shields, Duck being able to keep it up. 97%, he's going to be falling down. 3 people are going to be dead here for MVP Black. But guess what? The only fort that is down is on the bottom half of the map. They have to make a huge play here, and they do not really have the tools. Tempest needs to be going in, making something happen.
The experience, level 20. They have level 20. It's on even levels. 84% on the core. Tempest, they need to capitalize right now. 20 seconds for Thrall, 34 ETC, 40 for Kalthas. They go down to the bottom. Hog is all the way up at the front. There's 5 men on the side of Tempest, and they try to do whatever they can to push MVP Black back.
This is about to get really sloppy, I fear. Tempest already realized they need to make something happen, but just their approach already to the situation, they are desperate. You can see Honkono. He's like, guys, we need to go. We need to go. And the rest of the team goes, we can't do this. We do not have the sieging composition to deal with the situation.
And they have no wave support.
Exactly.
The entire waves are being pushed back. There's even a camp pushing against them. They won't get any minions anytime soon to soak the shots on the keep. They have to retreat. All they got was the wall.
Keep wall is not going to be enough here. This does give them an opportunity, though, to just sit back and maybe get that pick that they need. I would like to see them sit in the upper half of the map here, get the clear out on all the side lanes as best they can, The next shrine phase is going to be spawning in the next 30 to 40 seconds. When that happens, catch the rotation on the upper half of the map. Where there's a lot of fog of war there compared to the bottom. You can't really deal with that situation. Whether MVP goes there right at the beginning or later, whatever one they want to cap first, that is the area you have to fight. You cannot deal with fight anywhere else on the map right now. Tempest needs to be the aggressors.
Oh, that cannot happen. That's the kill. That is horrible for Tempest. This is exactly what they need to avoid here. They bought themselves a fighting chance with level 20, with the talents. They even have the double rewind. Muradin with a potential double hammer to the face could increase that stun lockdown. But if they lose heroes isolated on the map, that would be a disaster, and it couldn't have happened at a worse time.
I like this choice, though. Oh, gosh. Dami actually misses the bro, and they realize the entire team's going to be in the chokehold here, Caldor. This is not going to be good.
This is not going to be pretty. This is not going to be pretty at all. But Tempest is down. That's exactly what they needed. Tempest, can they make it happen? It looks like it. The Mosh Pit, of course, is on cooldown. And there's ETC. He's isolated. This is the chance, Dreadnought. This is the moment. This is the opportunity. And ETC is dead. It was a 4 versus 5, and they get 2 kills.
They've got to get a Dragon Knight out of this. The top lane is going to provide a lot of pressure against them, and yes, it's going to be able to take out the front wall, but a DK is the only way you're going to be able to see Tempest in the game. They've sent only one person top, Duck. He cannot win this 1v1 at all. Now you see Hankono making this rotation. Li Ming is trying to make something happen as well. If they cannot win this shrine and get a DK soon, that DK will not be able to end the game with all 5 people up for MVP.
20 minutes into the game, 21, the position at the top. Here comes the Nubarak, here comes Li Ming. They're all on the move. They camp at the top lane, getting huge
This is what
value.
they need.
They want the kill, but they don't get it. But they will get the Dragon Knight. They can channel the Dragon Knight, and now the big question, Dread, is this going to be their chance to end the game? Do they have what they need?
This is the only time they're going to be in a situation this pretty to end the game. They ended up putting their tank into it, though, so that leaves their backline very susceptible. If MVP can ignore the Dragon Knight, move onto the backline, this could be a really rough spot. They can't take any free damage here onto Dami.
It comes all down to this. Dami is already on it. Here comes the Phoenix. MVP, they're trying to burst it down, and oh my god, are they doing a great job. Dami is already at 50% HP, and he hasn't even taken down the keep yet.
Yeah, and the worst part is he's actually gaining less value out of this Dragon Knight than the Knights on the upper half of the map for MVP Black. They're about to lose their next keep. So again, just such a terrible position to be in for Tempest. The DK now being at 43% while the first keep is going to be falling down. This does open a win condition, though. At some point, they might be able to make something happen, and Hankono is going to be going in.
There's the Sundering. Once again, the pressure on Hong. We are seeing Dami still dancing around, trying to get maybe a little bit more value out of the Dragon Knight. Doesn't look like it's going to matter. Good dodge on the Gravity Labs, but they have to retreat here. Hong is low. The bombs are spreading. They need to be very careful with this. A bit of a sloppy moment there for a second, and they have no chance of actually pursuing this.
They have to bait a fight. This is the only fight they're going to get that isn't on their core, and that is the best fight for them, because if Tempest takes a fight onto the core, MVP can literally just ignore them. If they sit here, yes, this is perfect. This is exactly what they need to do. Bait somebody into bad position and get a pick onto this camp here. This is the only shot Tempest has. Come on, they got to be able to move in.
They go for ETC. They go for ETC. They're trying to get him. The force ball, but the Bolt of the Storm saves the cow. Great play here. Once more by Sign. That would have been a horrible moment if they lose their frontliner.
Yeah, and again, just MVP understands the circumstances that this is their game to lose at this point. Every time they get in a rough spot, they don't even risk the fight. They just go, all right, well, as long as we don't die here, we know we're going to be winning in the long run. We have too much pressure, and the two most valuable lanes on Dragon Knight, or on Dragonshire, and they don't have the wave clear to deal with this. They have to get the picks. And again, I think the upper half of the map is the area that Tempest can thrive in. Whether it be clearing those Giants or the upper half, that is where they got to try and take it.
Tempest is definitely with their back to their walls right now. They're like a wounded animal. They are dangerous, but they are also very scared at this point. If they lose here, then it is all over. Camps on the map, both teams aiming again to get a bit more pressure on the lanes. MVP moving back. They are trying to play this really slow and patient. They know it all comes down to one team fight, to one kill, to one Dragon Knight. Whatever you get here is going to win you the game, and the shrines are announced once more.
They realize the circumstances perfectly. MVP is not, that was again, another situation where Tempest maybe has a shot. They go, guys, again, this is really the biggest risk we can take. Like, don't worry about it. Wait for the shrines. We win with the shrines up. We always do. So we give up that camp. We'll take our Knights. We'll clear this out a bit later. I love this choice from them. Two people shown in the upper half of the map. So now MVP goes, guess what? There's going to be a free shrine for us.
Tempest has to take a fight somewhere, and they're starting to all rotate down to the bottom. Falstad, Tassadar and Liming are starting to move down to the bottom here. Hong is waiting. He's trying to look for an opening. He moves it from behind. They're attacking. They go for Kelthus. There's nobody there for a moment, but Goja is still able to get away. On the other hand, we have still Tassadar rushing back, but Hong is completely alone. The Avatar doesn't save him. It actually does. Once more the damage. Ancestral is through. Here comes Stein. He's looking for a mosh. It's interrupted though. Great move from Lockdown. Interrupting the mosh pit, but still the attack going on against Lockdown himself. The kill against Dragon.
The real reset.
Unbelievable. Tempest.
4 are dead. They won.
4 kills. They take them all down. They take Rayman down. Kelthus, Karistem, and ETC. They all explode. Unbelievable. Tempest, they were so far behind. Nobody thought it would be possible. And just like this, they go in. They go for the team kill. They take the game. They force map number 5 in the grand final.
How did that even happen? Tempest just playing out of their minds in that team fight. Reset after reset. Lockdown did exactly what he needed. Finally being able to get the kill onto the backline. And gosh, Duck with the shields to keep him up. They're going to be taking it to game number 5.
Lockdown with dominance on level 4. And he goes in. Reset after reset. Kill after kill. 82,000 damage on Li Ming in this game. And what a brutal way for MVP to lose the game here.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it comes down to their last map in the series.
They had that game in complete control the entire time, but within the last, what felt like only 3 minutes, somehow Tempest was able to turn that game around. Just absolutely beautiful. And that's kind of what we saw against E-Star, right? If they struggled a little bit and they just, guess what? We've hit the later half of the game. We're going to outplay you mechanically every time.
The best game of the entire tournament, the best of 5. We saved the best for last, and unbelievable that Tempest made it happen. We were going into the series, we were asking, do they have what it takes? Do they have the mindset to stop that momentum train? And that was a pretty fast momentum train for MVP Black.
Yeah.
And Tempest turned it around with a comp that everybody said is not going to be making it here on Dragonshire. Guys, the last map is going to come up in just a bit. But first of all, we're going to hear from the analysts where exactly it went wrong for MVP Black on Dragonshire.